So a lot of these carbon credit programs, there's been just some vagueness and uncertainty in them. And I've been involved in that space since 2019. We've helped out multiple different companies that have done a lot of really great work in carbon credits. I've seen a lot of shift away from carbon offsets, though, and into carbon insets. I'm still very bullish on carbon insets and helping farmers to participate in those programs today. I think that's been great because there's more flexibility. Usually, the financials pencil out to be a little bit better, but mostly it's more flexibility and helping farmers to not be subject to long-term contracts and just ease the concerns of a farmer participating in one of these programs. But of course, carbon intensity is where I see all this going, that these companies, rather than buy a credit from somewhere, now they can actually just quantify what is the actual footprint of the products that they are actually physically purchasing, whether that be corn or soybeans or milk or whatever it may be. They can actually quantify the carbon footprint of that product itself and thus tell their real story with transparency and connectivity throughout the whole supply chain. Yeah, just seeing it all go that direction. And Nick, just like on your side, right? That it's these programs are coming and it incentivizes you to kind of go to the next step of adopting regenerative practices, adopting more of these soil health systems to be in position. And that's exactly why I'm trying to help to drive all these things, is that at the core of this, I don't necessarily care that much about these outcome programs. My real thing is I think more family farms need to be doing soil health practices because that's going to make them more profitable, more
Totally.
resilient for the long term, because these programs are going to come and go. So if there's money in them today that's going to get more farmers to adopt practices, get more farmers thinking about soil health, get more farmers, taking control of their cost of production, that sets up agriculture for a brighter future as these programs continue to change and the metrics change and the goalpost changes and the financial opportunity is going to change, but the soil health principles remain the same and sound agronomy remains the same, and making sure that farmers actually are just profitable doing what they do. That has to be at the core of all of this. And I just haven't never seen a potential opportunity as big as carbon intensity, with as big of a carrot as the tax credit could bring, and with just as it could be so simple if the rules are written the right way. It could be a very simple program. It's low risk and really inclusive to bring a lot of farmers to the table. So that's why I'm bullish on that. But Nick, maybe you talk about, like, you've looked into a bunch of different programs and you've participated in a bunch of different things, looking at carbon offset credits, carbon insetting, now CI. How do you approach it from with your farmer hat on, or maybe with your consultant hat on as well?
Yeah. No, I appreciate the language you used of carrot, because what a blessing to us as American farmers to have a carrot
Yeah,
rather than a stick at this point. And
fact.
so it's like we get rewarded to make the right choice to add regenerative practices, which helps our farmers' resiliency, as you said, and helps profitability. It's the best of all worlds. And yeah, 45Z is the biggest thing to happen to the American farmer since the ethanol boom, and so it's great that we are prepping on the front end here to just hit the gas on day one once
Yeah.
that happens. Um, as far as other carbon programs, there was the ones of the last 5 years that would do a lot of look backing and would require a tremendous amount of paperwork. Some may think that this requires a tremendous amount of tracking and paperwork, but ultimately, once we get our systems, it's going to be pretty straightforward of just tracking what you do. So that look back was cumbersome, it was complicated, and very, very, very involved. I haven't talked to somebody who's been through one of those. I won't name programs, but where they'd have to come up with 5 to 10 years of stuff, and said that was a fun experience. then you have those carbon inset programs. As we've been preparing and waiting here, I've participated in a couple of those with you guys, and those have been really straightforward and simple. I do love it's a year contract. Just tell your practices, get paid, and done. And then next year is a whole new game. And
Mhm.
so, um, yeah,
Yeah,
I think we're in a good.
no long-term contracts. It's just all right, here's what the program is for this year. Evaluate if it's going to work out and be the right thing, or hopefully at some point there's more and more options on the table. But like, here's the here's the words on the page that are on the table now. Does it look okay? And yeah, as long as you're not locked into the same words on the page for all of eternity, meaning 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever that may be, which in farming, it's a long time to be locked in
A
on a
lot can
contract
change
when there's
for
so many
sure.
unknowns. But yeah, pretty simple. And yeah, and to your point, without having to do a whole bunch of look back and bring out all these old records that may or may not have much for relevancy on what you're doing here now or what the claim really is trying to accomplish.